Vaush, that gaslighting was fucking insane, unironically triggered me because of past experiences, actually gross. Yeah, I don't want to say this because, like, I've been friendly with DM, but I'm also based in consistency pilled, so I'd say that I think she comes across like an abuser in that convo. I'm sorry. Look, I've said it before to other people, so I have to say it here. Like, 100%, yeah. It seems like every avenue, every, like, question asked was an opportunity for her to, like, posture as the victim and make me out to be, like, some big meanie, you know, like, who's just misinterpreting and bad faith analyzing and everything, and I got called crazy, like, a good number of times there, and I don't mind sort of being flippantly called crazy, but there were a few times there where she just flat out failed to acknowledge a previous, like, thing that had been said, and it's like, Jesus, you know? I think she said a ton of shit there that was just wrong, too, about, like, the way the FDA regulates and, like, checks for this stuff, but I didn't do, like, a full fucking dive in on expose on every element of drug production before having this random-ass convo. You injured her ego? Yeah, probably. Like, I don't know. Like, Demonmama's biggest problem as an orator has always been that she can't help but grandstand. She grandstands over everything all the time, right? Which can be grating even when she's completely right, but when she's, like, indefensibly wrong, it's it's impossible to punch through that. Like, it's just this impenetrable barrier. Isn't the issue just a fundamental distrust of institutions? I do think it's very funny that her position is supposed to be the more anarchist one, but she comes off more trusting of institutions, right? That is kind of weird to me. You know, I do think that's a it's an interesting juxtaposition. I don't think it really does seem like a lot of people who are anarchists are just like they just do like the ANCAP thing, except instead of corporations, it's communes. And like apart from that, all the logic is the same, where they're like just really delusionally trusting of institutions to do what's in their interests. Folks, the only way to make sure that institutions do what's in the common good's interest is to make sure that whatever regulations and oversight they have make it in their best interest to do so. Without real stringent regulations, even a nonprofit will find ways to exploit, which they do. Nonprofits and non-government organizations are one of the wings of modern American neo-imperialism. They do work in Southeast Asia, in Africa, and Latin America, where, while not profit-seeking, they nonetheless lay the groundwork for profit-seeking, and they often skim profits themselves, too, you know. Nonprofit doesn't mean they don't charge any money for anything they do. I don't trust, and like the idea like this would all go away if you had, like, capitalism went away, I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. I think that convo started off on the wrong foot and only worse. Guys, I don't want to take the blame on this one. I started the conversation as much on the right foot as I'm humanly capable of doing, okay? If if anything, it's evidence of bias on my part, because if Demonmama was not the one who made that tweet, if it was just some rando I didn't know, I would have torn into it very hard, because it is really dumb. But I tried very, very hard to hear it out, you know? Should have anyway. Well, I feel like I made my points, you know? The funny thing is, like, if all she had done had come on and said, you know, hey, so I understand that one tweet makes it sound like I'm totally against supply chains. I guess I didn't really read, like, the tweets above the same way that you did. That was just about the idea that, like, broadly there are some ways we can be more, you know, participatory in the process of medicine making. But I still recognize, of course, that, you know, the supply chains are necessary to maintain this, and, you know, this is something we should do to challenge the hegemony and monopoly of existing pharmaceutical industries. If she had just said that and been like, okay, that tweet maybe didn't frame it properly, but, like, here's how I really feel, like, that would have been it. I think she would have come across looking really reasonable there, too. Like, you know, maybe a tweet was poorly phrased and she misread someone else, but, like, okay, like, you know, fuck. Yeah, that would have been fine. That's basically what happened, though. No, it's not. Because not only was getting that from her, like, pulling teeth, but every additional bit of info she added was like a justification for not being willing to back off. She was never able to back off the initial core of it. There's a huge difference between coming on and saying, oh yeah, that wasn't like a perfect representation of my position. Here's like a fuller one, and, you know, I misread some stuff, whatever. And coming on and arguing with me for 2 hours and gaslighting me on shit that she said, like basically lying to me. And then every time she gets pushed on something, she doesn't back away from it or clarify. She adds additional info on top of it while, like, pulling and fighting the whole time through. Like, that's, like, it's very, very, very different. So condescending too, yeah. And she said, I don't know what you're saying like 8 times. Guys, I know I don't. I know I don't have a problem being easily understood. She did say that bit very condescendingly. I assume it's due to the stress of the drama. With the greatest respect to Demonmama, who does get a lot of shit online, and I understand how that can affect a person, probably more than almost anyone else online in the online left. I will say that if your response to that stress is to treat me the way that she treated me when I'm trying to, in as good a faith as I can, understand what she means, then that's really on her, you know? Like, can only do so much there. The real gaslighting was telling you were angry and ranting at her. Yeah, that was the most frustrating shit. I can't believe either she was so dishonest or so, like, not capable of introspection that she was accusing me of being heated. like, it, you know, not to project my feelings onto you guys, but I have a feeling that comes across as quite silly given the context of the conversation, you know? Maybe it's time to move on instead of shit-talking her when she's not here to defend herself anymore. What happened, happened. What? Why do you guys apply double standards like that? Like, talking after a debate is finished about the debate that we had is a thing that I've done for literally everyone. It's so clear when people are just friends, you know, like they like the other person, you know? Stop feeding DGG. I know, they're gonna have a field day with this one. Don't you think being mad at DM is an optics failure for the left? Shouldn't I be pushing back against stuff like that? I don't know. Seems like, I don't know. I don't want anarchism to be like represented by some of these ideas. I just want you guys to appreciate how cool the modern world is, you know? Wasn't there like a PhD student who made an effort to make aspirin from scratch and like after a year of trying gave up? Because a lot of people, you guys don't even know what it means to make something from scratch, right? Like, no chemical precursors. To make something from scratch is like you're out there like gathering a bunch of leaves that you boil to get the chemical, which you then put through a charcoal filter to, it's like, oh my god, like it's like impossible. It's like not possible, you know. You guys know the story of the guy who took 6 months to make a chicken sandwich because he did it from scratch. So like he raised a chicken and he like grew wheat and cut the wheat. Oh, it was a full year. Yeah, yeah. I guess the point that I'm getting at is like a lot of you guys, I just want you to imagine tooth pain. Okay? I just want you to imagine tooth pain. All right? You ever had tooth pain? Real bad tooth pain? It used to be, back in the day, that if you got tooth pain, that was it. That's your life now. People would go for the rest of their lives drinking soup because it was soft, or having to only eat with one side of their mouth. You could pull teeth out, but gum infections take root, and, you know, past a point, there's only so much you can do. That's life, you know? That's pre-modern medicine life. And the chemicals necessary to keep your teeth clean, you guys would not be able to make them from scratch. To make toothpaste, to make painkillers if you have something wrong, to make antibiotics, like, I just want you to imagine tooth pain, okay? Supply chains entail bureaucracy, but they're a necessary evil because, I'm sorry, my dudes, if anarchism means giving up everything made after the agricultural revolution, I don't believe in anarchism. Thankfully, that's not what anarchism is, so I don't know why some people on Twitter pretend that anarchism means that. It doesn't. Okay, bad example, Vaush. There are well-known tooth pain-killing chemicals in cloves. Yeah, but, like, not for a lifetime solution, right? Like, yeah, cloves are also not, like, universally accessible. I want to live a cottagecore, so must everyone else. I feel like a lot of people who want to live and-prim lifestyles would, like, die in 5 minutes anyway, so maybe we should just give them, like, a patch of forest or something, you know? People don't understand how many natural inequalities have been alleviated through modern technology. And, you know, accessible knowledge as well. Not to mention our bodies, folks. Folks, the body of a human hunter-gatherer is infinitely superior to your own. Even if you're an athlete in chat, you do not have the internal gut bacteria to protect you against the kinds of foods that you need to eat. You don't have the natural immunities and resistances. Even the most physically fit people watching this right now in a survival environment would be just dead compared to a human being about 20,000 years ago. It wouldn't even be close, really. If you want to go back to that lifestyle, it's just a death sentence. And for what? Like, you know, I may have to spend 14 hours every day foraging for food, but at least I don't have to spend 8 hours a day in an air-conditioned building doing service work. Okay. Like, we have freed ourselves from man-made hierarchy, and now we live under the crippling, brutal regime of significantly worse natural hierarchy, where we have to fight for every moment of survival. Like, wow, we sure are more free now than ever before. I mean, even wage slaves in the modern West sometimes can fly to other countries, you know, see people, talk to people, access infinite information, but, you know, they have to work 40 to 60-hour work weeks. Too much, by the way, not defending that. I'm just saying that there's something worse than overworking, something worse than Japanese tier work culture, and we built our way out of it.